I think for 8.3 I could say, I don't think it's going to really be anything new from 8.2. Just the numbers are going to be a little bit more screwy. Fair enough? So we'll kind of talk about why they're a little bit, what makes them a little bit more screwy. But you probably remember doing these things, that if you have like 100 squares, 100% then is going to be when they're all filled in. Yes? Mm-hmm. If we were to just look at this one here, they filled in 50 of the 100. So right here would be 50%. It's half filled in. Good? So they've done those sorts of things. So this new section is going to be just like what we were doing before, but a lot of the numbers now are going to be like the title says, greater than 100 or less than 1. So the skills are the same, the answers maybe just look a little bit weird. So if you have 150%, what they're really trying to say is it's going to be a whole 1, that's the 100%, plus the 50% added on. Good? Yep. Or if we had 1%, 1% would be one of these squares filled in. 2% would be 2 squares. If you have 1/4%, how much is going to be filled in?
Less than half. A
quarter of a square. And if you look in that very bottom part, you maybe could see that they filled in 1/4 of 1 square is going to be 1%. So they tried to fill in 1/4 of 1 square. Should be 1/4%. Fair enough? So the goal is that kind of helps you maybe get a visual for what we're talking about. We're talking about things that are over 100, so more than 1 or less than 1 square. All right. After all that lead up, we're going to do one that's more normal, like you've been doing, but 99%. How do we write
99 over 100.
I was thinking as a decimal. I just started to give the answer. How do we write 99% as a decimal? 0.9. Yeah, 0.99. Yes? And we said yesterday that the most important number yesterday was 2, which might be the in whatever language that was supposed to be. French, was it?
French.
The West Side language. So, but the point was we always move it. We always move it 2 jumps. So if I have 104%, what's 104% going to be as a decimal?
1.04.
Perfect. That we do the same exact thing. Even though it's a weirder looking number, you just move it 2, and we have 1, which is like 100%, 1 whole, 0.04, where the 0.04 would be the 4%. Good?
Yeah.
0.3% is what is a decimal?
0.3. 0.003. 0.03.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, we still move it 2, which gives us 0.003. So 0.003. Now these next 3 you'll notice aren't starting as percent. So these next 3, we have the decimal, we need to go the other way to make it a percent. So 0.42 is
42.
42%. 1.23 is
123.
123%. Because for these, the same as what we were doing before, we just take and move the decimal point 2, but now we move it to the right. When going to a percent, we go 2 to the right. So 0.0008 is
0.08.
yeah, 0.08%. So 8 hundredths of 1%. So you'd have 8 100ths of one of those little squares filled in. Good? 23 over 100. Some people maybe jump right to the percent. For me, if you're not sure, I'd punch into a calculator, 23 divided by 100, and that'll just give us 0.23. When you hit 23 divided by 100 equals. 0.23 is the same as what percent? 23%. Which you could also think back to the beginning of the 8.2 notes where we said, oh, whatever number you have over 100, that number's the percent. Talked about a percent being a part of 100, part of a whole. 100 over 100 is? 100%. Or if you had done that in the 2 steps, 100 over 100 just is 1, which then you could say, well, you move the decimal point 2 places, you get your 100%. So kind of either way, in 1 step or in 2. 147 over 100, punch that in your calculator, it'd be 1.47, which is what percent?
In China too.
147.
147%. This next one, you know, honestly, I'd probably punch it into a calculator if you're not sure. I mean, you could do the shortcut. Our answer is going to be 0.7% because it's 0.7 over 100. So our final answer is going to be 0.7%. So if you have a number over 100, the number in the numerator is going to be what the percent is. The book is trying to convince you of this. If I were to take and multiply this by 10, I'd get a 7. Fair enough? So I'm going to take and multiply the numerator by 10. But if I do that, I have to
Bottom.
by 10. So 0.7 over 100 is the same as 7 over 1,000, which if you were to punch that into your calculator, it would be 0.007, 7 thousandths, where you have your 10th place, hundredths place, thousandth place. And then once you move your decimal point 2 places, you get 0.7%. Good? So we'll kind of keep doing the steps, because the steps could help you if you don't have a calculator handy. 8 over 10 is the same as what over 100?
80.
80 over 100, which is going to be
80%.
80%. You could punch it in and get the 0.8 if you wanted to, but most people just say, oh, it's 80 over 100, 80%. 60 over 25,
2,400. 2,400.
Multiply times
yeah, multiply by 4,
250.
so times 4. 6 times 4 is 24, right?
Ah.
So 60 times 4 would be
40.
240. So our final answer is going to be what percent?
240.
240%. And if you want to do the intermediate one, if you punch that into a calculator, 240 divided by 100. What we're trying to do is we're trying to make the denominator 100. So we're kind of looking at what do you do to this to make it 100? What do you multiply by? This, what do you multiply by? Well, this one you could say times 10. And then you'd have to multiply the top by 10. So look at what to multiply the denominator by. Multiply the numerator by the same amount. And I believe that's everything, is it not?
C.
All right. So let me know if I can help you with any of this stuff.